hope this is not an ASL game because I didn't
That
watch.
is coming up. Well, I still have to do the intro. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Kundalini-hashed podcast, where we align chakras, read auras, and fuck your mom.
You're inspired today. Okay,
I
Kundalini.
had coffee, so I hope that helps. I have absolutely no subject, so we're just going to talk about StarCraft.
No, we have subject.
We do?
Oh, no, let's talk about StarCraft. I forgot the subject. We'll
No.
talk about.
Let's start. Let's start the. Where is the? Oh, come on. Okay, there we go.
Let's open the Optech newsletter.
Okay, wait. One second. I have to do the cue thing. So, 3, 2, 1, start the game. Okay.
Oh, there's nothing on Optech.
No, so that's the thing. I looked through Optech and I was like, meh, meh,
What do you
meh.
think about PayJoin? There was a guy posting about a website, payjoin.org, and he posted on Twitter. I complained that the website was shit, and then he reached me and started asking me questions about how do I saw what do I think we should do to make PayJoin a success. And I said some things, and then the guy made a report on the things I had said. I don't know how he will act on that report, but open this website payjoin.org.
Give me a few seconds. So first, explain what PainJoin is for our audience.
Well, the audience can open the website, but
Yes, okay. PainJoin
it's some,
privacy without mixing. So
it's
it's
something when you're gonna pay someone. For example, you're going to buy something on a store on the internet, and you're going to pay with Bitcoin. Instead of you making a transaction that has an output to the store, you and the store sign a transaction with output with inputs from both of you, and you get outputs to both of you with the same amount. So you do a little mix. This is fake privacy without mixing because you're actually doing a small mix between you and the person you're paying or the store you're paying.
okay. So two things. First, I'd like to advise you and inform you about the notion of state, explain, illustrate. So first, tell what it is, and then give the explanation, and don't start
Well,
with
I
the
just
explanation.
I just told it's a thing that allows you to do whatever I just described.
Yes, but you go to this store, and then when you buy at this store, you get a transaction.
Is that how I speak?
I don't know. I'm trying to mimic you. It's hard. I guess my
Uh,
Slavic is a little bit better. Yes. Um. So, okay. So what's the problem? Because ultimately, it's just it's something. There's a protocol here. There has to be a little bit of coordination between the two parties. I reckon.
yeah, yeah, that's the problem. The coordination is the problem.
Yeah.
They have a spec that's just you get a you give a Bitcoin address, but you append an optional HTTP um, URL at the end. And if the payer supports that, they will skip the address and just call the address the HTTP endpoint
Yeah, because
and
the
do the
BTC,
coordination through that.
because BTC Pay already has PayJoin integrated, right?
Yeah, but you have to enable it. So if you're
Oh.
listening to this and you have BTC Pay, enable it. Not that anyone will use it, but do your part.
Yeah, I think this is cool, especially because um and this is a little bit of an obscure notion that I don't think is common knowledge. So let's talk about it. Is that there's no relationship between the input and an output within the inputs and the outputs of a transaction.
Yeah, and there's no such a thing as an address, right?
Also, yeah. So, but um, uh, And this is because normally when you do a transaction, you put in your money and you send it towards somebody else, and so you think, well, there is an inherent relationship between the inputs and the outputs, but there really isn't. Um, there is from an accounting side, in terms of that there have to be less satoshis on the output side than there are on the input side. I mean, that's the rule. Um, but that doesn't necessitate that there is any economic or actual relationship between what's going on the input side and what's going on the output side. And a way to explain this is that you can I can I can send. Okay, so now I have to do it as an example. So we have to add we have to add two more people. So let's say you pay store A and I pay store B. That I can actually pay store A instead of you, and you can pay store B instead of me in the transaction from a transaction perspective. But then we can settle the differences between each other,
Yeah,
um, in a let's say a third transaction. So now we have three transactions where, from an economic perspective, there is no relationship from an input output perspective as to what's actually going on uh, uh, economically. So what we're ultimately trying to do is break the heuristic that the inputs and the outputs do have some relationship to each other, or that the relationship is easy to identify. And uh, the
well,
reason that we
we
do it is
basically,
to break chain analysis, right? We don't want, if you're
no, no,
you're
yeah, we break the state, right? We wanna end the state and bring
we want to
anarchy.
we want to break the kneecaps of the state, so we're doing page. What the fuck?
Well, it's a small step, but well, another good thing
Yeah.
that people don't care about, if they cared about privacy and breaking these channels things, would be to support more like the state chains thing that you love because your neighbor, your cousin Ruben Sonsa invented it. Because that's a nice way to, like, in your example you would pay the store. No, that example is not good, but you just pass the outputs between people and nothing moves on the chain, and then suddenly when something moves on the chain, it's not the same person that received the output that is moving, so it breaks everything.
But the same would go for eCash types of systems, right?
E-cash type system is just custodial system, so yes,
Right.
in a big custodian, yes, you can deposit and money can move inside the custodian, and then you take stuff out. Yeah. But on the state chain side, it's because the state chain is tied to one specific Bitcoin output. On a custodian system, it's just everything is a mess inside it. It's an amorphous mess of balances, right?
Yeah. Well, it's that combined with the fact that you have blinded signatures, so the custodian doesn't actually know what's going on.
Yeah, but that's irrelevant for what you're talking, right?
No, yeah, well, it's semi-relevant because it from an outsider perspective, you don't actually know what's going on because but Lightning already does the same thing, right? Um, you're moving funds, quote unquote, moving funds or making payments outside of what happens on the chain, and you only get a conclusion on chain. So you cannot relate what's going on on chain to what's going on within the economy. But then you also don't know what's going on within well, let's say Fedimint. You don't know what's going on in the eCash server, but even the host of the eCash server doesn't necessarily know what's going on. So that helps.
Yes, yes, that's true. Good, that's good.
Um, what's going on in the game? Oh, they're
Who is playing? I can't read the names.
me neither. So let me look that up for you.
No, 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 no.
You
You,
asked the question. You want the answer. I can give you the answer. Why didn't
no,
you?
it's just wasting time. Let's move on to the next up. You said you
It's
had a game downloaded, but this is just Artosis and Artosis
yes,
3.
correct. But so first I wanted to be lazy and download like the last one he uploaded just a few hours ago, and then I was like, no, okay, if I'm gonna steal, I mean, we've been watching Artosis cast for the last episodes, right?
Well, that's why he puts his name there in the video in the big
Yes,
font. That's because he wants people to steal it and display his name elsewhere, right?
I
So I
guess
don't.
so.
Yeah, I
So
think he's fine with
we're
it.
doing it as servers, but I was like, okay, I won't be a dick. I won't use the one he uploaded like 2 hours ago. So I scrolled down on his YouTube page to find something that was reasonably old
I
and
see.
long, and just take that. So are you up to speed with ASL? What's the last
No,
one you've
no.
seen?
Well, I'm watching the second phase, the second group phase,
Yeah.
but I didn't finish, so don't tell me.
Yes,
The
but
last game,
where are
the
you? Are
last,
you?
the last game I watched was Best against Light on that crazy map 76. Have you seen that?
This was group. This is group C, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I've
That
seen group
was
C. I'm busy watching group D right now.
that group. That
Okay.
that
Describe.
that, that match was very good.
Yes,
Do
but
you remember that?
I wanted to talk about this last week, but we didn't do a show last week, and I forget games instantly. So please refresh my mind, and maybe I remember. So I know the 76 map. It's the one with the fastest minerals
Yeah,
for
yeah,
only a
yeah.
few seconds.
So no, well, no, it's just a crazy game because no, there's nothing super absurd happening, but it's just light uh,
Oh, you mean the long
moving.
one?
Yeah, the long one with a
Is it
bunch of
a
a
it's
bunch of
a
shadows and a bunch of
Terra
that
First Protoss, right?
canvas products. Yes,
Yeah, yeah. So that's interesting because it's exhausting. I was looking at that and I was like, this is exhausting to play, man. If
but it's
you're,
so funny. It's so fun. And actually, it's interesting because in the end, they don't know what to do. Everything's such a mess, and like
hmm
they have units close to each other, and they're not even fighting because they're just there. And then there's some places where the zealots are trying to hit someone, but they can't because the terrain doesn't allow. So they just walk around the terrain like crazy and stuff like that. And then the APMs of the two players they go down very much. Like
uh-huh.
they because I think that's because they don't know what to do, so they don't have the automatic movements in their fingers anymore. So it's very
It's not just that. It's well, first it's exhaustion, because the game was fairly long. So I guess after 25 minutes, I mean,
yeah, that's true.
you can only keep up that pace so long. But the other part is that the things that they're doing are so mechanically demanding. Loading shit up into drop ships and then moving them over and unloading them and gathering them, and it's it's so much work. It's actual work. So I mean, I think they got exhausted pretty quickly, and then yes, it gets chaotic. And you're not. It's hard to. You don't have uh, the attention and the actions per minute, right? The instructions you give to your units, they really become a scarce resource. They become a really big distraction, or uh, not distraction, restriction as to what you can do, and then uh, as to what you could do on the map. And then it becomes interesting because then it sort of looks like they're two noobs playing, right?
Yeah,
It's not like
yeah, that's true. That's true.
I really like it because it's at that point the game scaled beyond human human capacity, so then it becomes a lot messier. Um, okay, cool. Yeah, I really like that game. Uh,
Okay, next topic I have here that we should have talked last week. It's the stamp chain.
you want to talk about stamps?
Yes, let's talk about stamps so people get excited about it and then they start buying more stamps.
Yes.
That's what I want.
Okay.
I'm looking
Well,
at stamp chain right now and we have
it's not a chain.
Yeah, I know it's not a chain, but that guy, Mike,
Mike in space.
the evil guy,
Yeah.
he called it stamp chain.
Oh, okay.
We have 16,000 stamps.
Christ. Okay,
What are you
so
going to do about this? What are you going to do about this?
that's the problem. You can't really do anything about it, right?
So
So
what's the problem with it?
the problem is that it's bloating the UTXO set.
And why is that bad?
Well, because it's the most resource demanding thing because you want to run your UTXO set inside memory.
Well, the UTXO set last time I checked was like 6 gigabytes. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to run that in memory anyway in my computer. Maybe I could, but there are many computers that wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, but the more you can, the better, right? Because then things runs more smoothly.
So
So
does Bitcoin Core know, like, it knows how much it's going to use of memory,
yeah, it's
and
setting.
does it split part of the UTXO set in memory and the other part not, or how does it
As
work?
far as I'm aware, yes. But yeah, it's a setting.
Like, so you could
It's an
you
explicit setting like memory usage that you
yeah, but
can.
I
It's
wonder
been in
how
there for
they.
like forever.
So every time you receive it, you want to check a transaction, you
Yeah.
must check if it's spending from an output that exists in the
Yes.
UTXO set. So you have to scan through the entire thing,
No, you don't have to. Well,
or
you
you
yeah
have an index.
you go through the UTXO set. I don't think. I mean, lookup functions are a bit more efficient than scanning through the entire thing, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, so I guess you have an index, and if you
Hmm.
have an index, you could have just the index on memory and the actual UTXOs you have on disk.
No, but
Or
then still you get the you have to swap things, right? So then you have to swap it from your drive, and that slows things down.
hmm, yeah.
So that's the reason you
So
wanted to have it in memory because then it's just snappy.
okay, but
Um,
suppose you don't have enough memory for everything. You keep part of it in memory.
well, the
What part?
indexing, yeah, okay, but the indexing part then subsequent. So the indexing thing on steroids is U3XO, right?
No. Don't introduce
Yes.
that.
No, but
I wanna ask about the normal Bitcoin D.
okay. Well, soon, eventually, it will be in normal Bitcoin.
Oh, I don't think UTXO. I see a lot of people talking about how UTXO solves this. I don't think it solves it because someone will still have to have the full UTXO
Oh
setup.
yeah, sure, but I mean then you could argue is like okay if you because what UTXO does um it's a trade off between bandwidth and compute resources or not compute and storage or bandwidth and I mean there's
Bandwidth.
you're basically doing a trade off right it's not magic so so you're just optimizing for different things when using UTXO.
No, you're also making a big trade off that is you don't verify everything anymore. Or do you? You
Yeah,
just
you do.
verify what you want. No, the your
No, but
the
in the process of no. So in the process of you don't store it as an explicit UTXO set anymore.
hmm,
You just create the structures in order so you can
I see.
use proofs, right? But that doesn't mean that you don't necessarily go through the timeline and build up the thing and validate it.
I see. So you validate all transactions,
Sure, yeah.
but for all transactions, you need a proof, and you can't generate that proof yourself because you don't have the actual UTXO set.
And yeah, I think you can generate the
I think I think you need like a client server model, and the server, uh, on quotes, it's a full node that has the entire thing, and that server provides you with all the proofs.
um
That's why you have increased bandwidth usage because you have to download the entire block and also the proofs for every transaction.
yes, but that's I think that's an onboarding thing. Okay, it's been too long since I actually looked at Utrixo because the idea is so damn old. So I don't know the
Yeah.
details anymore. I don't have it sharp in my mind.
Okay. So I want that.
um,
I
in,
think
in
I
re-
am correct, but I just want to say that someone has to start the entire thing. So we can't say Utrecht solves it, and we need some way for stamp chain to not kill Bitcoin as we
so
know it today.
it won't kill Bitcoin. I mean, eventually it will just it's silly, right? It's a silly thing, and the only thing that will cure it is just fees going up.
Right.
Unfortunately, right? I mean, that's the only thing you can do. And in the
Yeah,
meantime,
but then
Mike and
but
Space is a stupid
what if
fucking
in
idea.
what
And
if in the meantime they kill Bitcoin? Because in the meantime, imagine they're paying very low fees and they're bloating the thing so much that we can't recover from that in the future.
well, yeah, it's in some sense it's an attack, right? I would see it as an attack. It's just it's not as I mean a state, let's say a state actor could or some adversary, right?
Yeah, that's what I want to say. I
Yeah,
always said that. If I wanted to attack Bitcoin, that was
yeah,
what I
this
was
is a
going
good
to do.
vector. Yeah, sure. I mean, this is a good factor, at least to frustrate it. I mean, don't necessarily know if you're gonna kill it, but you damn sure are able to frustrate it. And the only thing that solves it and eventually is just fees, right? It's just becoming a stupid thing to do.
So in that sense, I think we should be glad that Ordinals exists because Ordinals is raising the fees and making stamp chain less attractive.
No, I think I so from that perspective, the only reason this is a thing is because ordinals were a thing.
Yeah,
I mean, so to clarify to the audience what is going on. Sorry, so
the
you have
audience
my
knows. The audience knows.
yeah, okay, I'm aware that the audience knows, but because nobody's listening, so that's easy, right? But the so Mike and just for the record, right, prosperity's sake,
Okay.
you had ordinals, and then you got this little ordinal hype going on. I think it's not as hypey as more as it was anyway. But the whole thing with this thing is with hypes is right. If you want to capitalize on the hype, you have to be there early. So now we get to this person, Mike in Space, who came up with this brilliant idea. Is like, I'll just come up with a new scheme, and because I came up with the new scheme, I'm in there early because I'm first because I came up with the thing.
Did he write code for this?
I
What
think
did
he
he do?
I think he hired people or something. I don't know. Um, and then
It's so
so
disgusting.
yeah, so it's absolute bullshit. Uh, but it doesn't matter if it's bullshit, right? That's not it. That for the sake of the hype, doesn't matter if it's bullshit. So he just created the bullshit, tried to get a lot of hype going on. He's trying to taunt Bitcoiners, right? So to get some negative attention because he thinks that works. Um, and he's there first, and then he hopes to sell a bunch of these stupid stamps and get his money back. This is just what's going on, right? There's nothing more. All the marketing bullshit is like stupid. They're stupid talking points. He's just trolling people to get the attention going. This is all that's
Yes,
going on,
yeah,
and um, it's so fucking tiresome.
yeah. Well, I wouldn't talk about this if we had more than 5 listeners because I don't want to give
Right? I
the.
wasn't planning on talking about this either. Right? I wanted to avoid.
Well, but we are the only people that can talk about it because that will do no harm because no one
That's
is going
true.
to listen. So
And then
we
also have
should.
like the inside knowledge of actually knowing the dude and the whole process and like the everything.
Have you seen any feedback from the Bitcoin overlords? You mean the the,
No,
the big
but
guys?
no, but I've been avoiding the topic because I really just don't care and I really think it's tiresome
Okay.
and
What
it's
about
just
that
it's
block?
just,
That
it's just
block that was mined. an invalid block
No,
because of
he
this.
they're two now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really,
F2 pull mine two invalid blocks.
because of this crap.
Yep.
Nice.
Um, so that's a thing. Also, let's. This is something I did want to talk about. Is the mempool.
How is it going?
It's full, man. It's we're at um
And that's because of ordinals.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's because of ordinals. Might also just be busy. Let's see, get some stats going. So yeah, we're currently it's so we're at 100 uh V byte. But it's been all the way up to but the interesting thing about the mempool being full is that the distribution of sats per V byte of the transaction is like way smoother than it even was in 2021. And even 2021 was way better than it was in 2017 because in 2017 was an absolute clusterfuck. Um, but I guess the wallets and the fee estimation is just so much better. Um, and
Mm,
maybe it's also user buy. It's there's a buyer in like who's using it right now because it's not necessarily a bull market or anything. So I think there are a lot of more experienced users that don't necessarily bid up the fee that much. Don't know.
how you're seeing that? What you're looking at that those mempool charts
Well,
of
I look at
sat. Oh, I think it's because of ordinals that the thing is smooth like that. Because the ordinals guys, they just pay the smaller amount possible, and then they create a huge backlog of that. And then there's slightly more impatient ordinals people that go and like the first ones they pay one set per byte, then the other one they pay two set per byte, and then you have this very constant backlog of ordinal descriptions to be mined.
I'm not sure. So one way to would be to check this is to look at different charts, but unfortunately Yoho's Bitcoin mempool statistics doesn't it appears not to it only shows you the mempool in virtual megabytes and not in number of transactions anymore. So I
Mm.
still like to use that one because it goes back all the way to at least January 2017 by the looks of it. Whereas mempool.space doesn't go back that long. It goes to 2019. Anyway,
Okay,
so I think this is
so if you go on mempool.space and you click on the the
chart.
next 3 or 4 blocks that are predicted,
Mm-hmm.
they don't have a lot of obvious ordinal descriptions in them. But like from the fourth to the fifth and sixth onwards, like they have a lot of ordinal stuff from what I see. It's just me clicking around, but that's why I think there's a backlog of ordinal descriptions, and like the actual financial transactions are on the top, but there's always that backlog.
Maybe who knows? But the thing I wanted to address is that um, because up until now, I mean, the mempool has always cleared, right?
Hmm.
It might take a few months, maybe even certainly during a bull run, but even when things slow down, then eventually it will clear out again. Um, but we supposedly are going to see a moment in time where the mempool will never clear again, other than like transactions being thrown out because they were very old. But uh, and
Yeah,
that I think that's going to be an interesting shift because then people are going to get fucked, right? If you have very small UTXOs and you're doing a transaction and you're like, oh, I'll be conservative, right? Hopefully, I'm not in a rush, and then the mempool just keeps filling up, and it never actually goes down again, and then you find yourself that your type of transaction is not economically viable anymore within the next phase that's found,
Yeah.
and effectively your Bitcoin are stuck. And like from this perspective, they're stuck forever. Right? You're not
Yes.
going to get your Bitcoin anymore. Well, the only thing you can do is do some very unfavorable, uneconomic action to just scrape some satoshis together. I guess, but um, a lot of UTXOs are just going to become dust permanently.
Yes.
Would be very interesting to do some analysis on the UTXO set on this actually.
So that's one criteria we should use. Like, take these very small outputs that are not economical and put them at the end of the index and on disk, so we don't spend CPU cycles trying to search for them when validating transactions.
But these are exactly the things why it's such a shame that we don't have a consensus engine, right?
What's a
Because
consensus?
from
What's a
from
consensus engine?
that's the idea that you put all the consensus rules together, um, and just define that in code, and then you can everybody can make their implementations whatever however they
Oh, I
want,
see. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and they are still compatible with each other. Because this is typically something that as a developer, you
But
could
that's an
then make.
implementation detail that wouldn't be part of the consensus.
No, exactly. So that's the point.
I
But
see.
now, if you want to merge this into core, it's gonna be
Yeah,
it's gonna be a hassle, right?
yeah,
Because it's not important. Or you're gonna get the reviews if it's gonna touch code, whatever, right? All this fucking bullshit. Instead of you just being like, okay, I'll just fork my own node software and implement this thing because this is what I want, right?
yeah, yeah. I see. Yeah, I also wanted that. People have tried to do it, I think, but I think most people are against forks for weird reasons, so they don't care very much about having that consensus engine.
No, there is the thing is it's just I think it's a I think everybody thinks it's a nice idea. It's just not easy, and people are busy doing other things, and there are only a limited amount of people working on it. And even to the extent that there would be more people working on it, you can only scale these types of efforts to some point, right? So um, the idea has been there for a while. It's just not a lot of people actually working on it. I think that's what's going on,
Yeah, they
which
prefer
isn't.
to work on other very useless things, right? Like, okay, I'm not going to say anything.
You're going to you're going to step on the toes of our overlords.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to do
Bitcoin developers, you suck.
that.
You suck. Yeah. It takes a special breed of person to be a Bitcoin developer, man.
Yeah,
It's
maybe.
strange. Well, you're working on a piece of shit. Everybody's going to give you shit. No, you're not actually getting any recognition for what you're doing, even though it's like
I
fairly
think I
fairly
don't
cutting
think that's
edge.
true. I think you're getting a lot of recognition.
No, but okay, you get recognition from a bunch of laser-eyed crazy people, right? And only a part of them, because most of them are just dumb idiots that.
No, you get recognition from the other people that work on Bitcoin that
Yeah,
you
okay.
value. Yeah.
Yes, but not from a societal perspective, right?
Well,
It's not a general consensus within society that these people are revered. It's like, oh, you're a Bitcoin core developer.
well, if you want that stuff, you need to be a politician or something like that. That
No,
was
it's like
crap.
if you're a NASA engineer, every person's like, oh, you're a NASA engineer. Oh, you're a rocket scientist, right? Oh, you're a surgeon. Their state is involved in relation to that. And if you're like, what, I'm a Bitcoin core developer, people are gonna look at you as like, what? You're what? Oh, Bitcoin. Oh, that's silly thing. Is that still a thing? So yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
it's sad. They're not getting rich. Um, yeah, it's very interesting. It's very interesting as you,
So yeah,
but I guess I
well,
get
that happens with a lot of other careers that people may choose. There was an economist, an Austrian economist that I was listening some time ago. He was telling a story that when he went to these parties and like family reunions, and he's talking to some distant parent or something like a distant relative, something like that.
distant parent.
Yeah, the words are similar in Portuguese. Sorry, a distant relative, and the guy said, "Oh, I'm a doctor or something like that, a physician or whatever." And then he, "Oh, okay, okay," and maybe he would ask some question about it or something like that. But then when he said he was an economist, and the person would then ask a question about inflation or something like that, and he would say what he thought, and then the person would say, "No, I think you're right because I think this and that," and they could not respect him as the specialist when that doesn't happen at all if the person is a physician or whatever or a rocket
Which is
scientist.
okay. So first, it's fair to not respect any economist as a specialist.
Well, I think no
Two,
specialist should be
yes,
respected.
and two, you shouldn't respect doctors either,
Yeah.
because I know a lot of doctors. I know what I know what they were like when they were like in university. Don't respect them. Don't revere them.
Yeah, I don't. Okay.
They're just people.
Yeah.
It's not like even they're
But
just people, right? They were like on all types of fucking drugs because they had access to them, right? They probably still are. All doctors are a bunch of degenerates. There, I said it.
all doctors.
All
Okay.
doctors, yeah, all of them. No, so yeah,
Okay. Next topic. I've heard an argument from this guy called I don't know the name of the guy. He's a Brazilian. It's a Brazilian guy who like he doesn't have a channel of himself. It's called Renato Amoedo, and I think he doesn't. I think this guy is very famous in Brazil, but among Bitcoiners. But I think he doesn't have any channel, website, podcast, newsletter. He doesn't have anything. Like he just talks on chats and he goes as a guest in other shows and stuff like that. But but the guy is just he's just a machine gun of opinions and arguments about Bitcoin. And like whenever someone talks to him, the person gets dazzled and like the person dies and is reborn as a Bitcoiner because of the how so many arguments. The guy can vomit arguments for 30 minutes
okay. I
without
have
breathing.
sufficient context and background on the person. What was it? What was his argument?
Yeah, the argument was that they promoting the end of cash in the entire world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about the amount of corruption and drug trafficking that exists in Brazil, and he was saying that if there's no cash anymore, these things can't happen with cash anymore. So they can't happen, and they can't also happen with bank accounts and CBDC or central bank whatever crap. So these people they will necessarily have to use Bitcoin, and that will bring adoption and that will ensure that Bitcoin is not outlawed, and that will happen in 2 years, something like that.
Um. So it will ensure that it won't be outlawed because your government is so corrupt that it depends on like
Yeah,
the mobsters and the gangsters that it's
the government is 100% corrupt people.
okay. Interesting. So um. Yeah, I think it's interesting. I guess that I guess criminals can use whatever. It's just they use whatever is most.
The criminals are in the government. Like the government has literally like
Yes, I
very
understand.
evident ties with the criminal, the drug people.
Yes, I understand, but that wasn't where I was going. So,
Okay,
um, that I guess criminals can use whatever, and they'll just use whatever is most convenient. And the only thing that you can maybe do is like increase transaction cost because they're forced to use something that isn't necessarily convenient. But they can, I mean, if if it's like if they don't need to use cash, right? They can use whatever.
like
They
chickens or what?
yes, or Tamagotchis, right? Vintage
They
Tamagotchis, right?
must use something that has value.
Yeah, yeah. Well, vintage Tamagotchis are very valuable. I reckon. I've no idea.
Have you ever seen a vintage Tamagotchi?
Um. Well. In retrospect, I have right because when I was young, I had a Tamagotchi, and not thinking about it, I have seen a retro because at the time. So, yeah. So I can. I mean, they can use everything, anything, and they'll just use what is most convenient. Um. And the interesting part, I think, is that uh, if you push them out, and
Bitcoin is
if you
much more convenient than vintage Tamagotchis. So
yes, yes, yes. But I think the other side is that when you push them away from anything that resembles money or is less moneyness, right?
hmm.
Um, it becomes harder to trace, I guess. I mean, if you want to trace chickens, how the fuck are you going to trace money flows within chickens, right?
Well, the chicken is definitely an NFT, right? It's not it's not fungible. Each chicken has its own identity, its own soul.
No, you can commoditize the chicken, right? I mean, sure. I mean, one chicken is a little bit different than the other chicken, but if you get like 10,000 chickens, do you actually care?
If you love chickens,
I
maybe.
mean, if you get 10,000 chickens, you can assume that most of them are like the mode chicken, right?
Okay, I'm just kidding. Yeah, chickens is very hard to trace, I guess.
Yeah, and they're then you. And that's the thing is that you cannot actually stop the bookkeeping overlay, so you're just getting a chicken accounting system where people will make chicken
Yeah, but
payment.
they won't use chickens because Bitcoin exists, and Bitcoin
No,
is
but
much
so
better.
no. So here's the thing, right? So you'll get you'll get centralized criminal chicken exchanges, yeah, and then people can make payment channels within the centralized chicken exchanges, and then they can integrate into the Lightning Network
Okay, yeah, I
using
see.
chicken channels.
Yeah, and that's how you scale Bitcoin.
Well, at least that's the drug criminals in Brazil are going to scale Bitcoin. Yeah, they're going to use chicken channels.
Yeah. Well, if you're gonna have centralized chicken exchanges, that will become very hard, very easy to track, and then you lose all the benefits that come from chicken trading and
I don't
using
know.
chicken as money.
And that's it's a well, assuming that it's one it's underground, right? So that's it's not nice for the chickens because they're not getting a lot of sunlight, but
The chickens will
maybe
all
they can
die,
keep.
and then you realize that all the chickens you have on the exchange they are dead, and when you want to withdraw your chickens,
Of course, you're getting chicken rug pulled. It's only a bunch of eggs, right? It's like those are chicken futures. So everybody's trading on chicken futures, but they're all a bunch of eggs and they're all rotten, right?
yeah,
Or they're chocolate eggs. They're not even real. Um, so do you eat chocolate eggs during this time of year during Easter?
you mean me specifically or my people,
Yeah,
the
your
glorious
people.
inhabitants of Brazil? Oh yeah, everybody eats. I stopped eating because these things are so. I still like sugary things, but these eggs specifically, they're way too sugary. I don't like them anymore.
Well, do you have different types? I mean, we
No, no, no. The masses only want the most crappy chocolate possible, so they don't
okay.
make good chocolate. Maybe they
Okay.
do, but I never seen it. I don't go to the places rich people go. But the rich people, they're all masses too. Like they also like the crappy stuff, that's sugary chocolate.
Okay. Fair enough. How's the game going? Oh, the game's over.
The game's over. Okay,
I, I
get
didn't know.
another topic. You didn't bring a single topic. I brought other topics. You
Yes,
didn't
that's
answer me if the drug dealing, politician corruption stuff would save Bitcoin.
um. I would abstract it and then would say yes, because the whole point of it is that the neutrality of the system. You can get political arbitrage. That's the whole point, right? You um
So we should be cheering for the end of cash stuff because that's what is going to bring Bitcoin.
um
Because so
well,
far we have not have much success in hyper Bitcoinizing the world. So
no, that is, I wouldn't take that position, but I would say is that in the context of um cash disappearing, it's very it's the fact that we have Bitcoin is our last hope, right? That's why I think Bitcoin is very important, but also think that cash will die off just through sheer its its inconvenient, through its impractical nature, right? I mean, there are so many, doing digital payments is so much more practical. It's just that it
yeah,
comes with a lot of bugs right now due to the fact that it's tied to this banking system and all the financial controls and monitoring and all that kind of stuff. So we needed a good digital cash alternative. Oh, ta-da! We got Bitcoin. So
yeah. Yeah, but I still think we should have some fallback, some physical fallback.
yeah, I agree. But then um, I agree. But then it's going to be marginalized. So in time, it's just going to be marginalized in time anyway. So then you can wonder, it's like, in time you actually need it. Do people actually have cash, right? Even now, I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
maybe Brazil's, I don't know what the situation in Brazil is, but we over here, their cash is becoming marginalized pretty fast. So if something actually occurs where you wanted to fall back on cash, do people actually have cash? Do they actually, does the infrastructure still exist to use cash? um
Well, it's hard to compare to today because there's an an effort to make cash worse, like the cash back worse. So you can't withdraw a lot of cash from the banks and stuff like that.
mhm.
And also the current cash is very bad. Like whenever I pay stuff in cash, the person in the store they're receiving, they just keep looking at the note to see if it's not uh, fake, and look at my face to see if I am a falsificator or so. If we had a better system to verify the crap if it's good or not, yeah, maybe. But there's no that's no it's not possible to, like, the market wasn't allowed to operate on that and come up with better solutions. So
No,
we don't.
we already invented the solution, that's Bitcoin.
Yeah, but I mean, we need something that works when we have no energy
Yeah,
or no
okay.
internet, and
Yes, and
it
then
could
you'll
be
just
some kind of tokenized physical Bitcoin, trusted whatever, but it could be better than the current government notes. I don't know.
you can just okay, you can make more fancy watermarks, I guess, right? But
Yeah,
then
that's what
ultimate
you can
the
think
ultimate
about.
the
But what?
ultimate solution to this problem is Bitcoin. That's actually the thing that Bitcoin solves. Um which is also a very abstract, faraway notion that I guess a lot of people don't get. So it's hard to explain to people. It's like, well, Bitcoin. The main thing about Bitcoin is that it allows you to check if your money is actually real, and then they'll look at you as like, "What the fuck do you mean my money is actually real?" right? And you'll have to explain it. It's like, yes, how do you know that your money is actually? And it's like, well, I've never thought about this. I never had to actually think about this. Blah 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 blah.
Well, but Bitcoin doesn't solve that because if your money is euros or dollars, and then Bitcoin doesn't solve that at all. So first you have to convince the
Obviously,
person that Bitcoin can be their money if they
yes, but
start acting like that.
no, they're just not aware of what all the actual overhead of is associated to this problem in relation to the euros and the dollars.
Well, I don't think it compares actually with verifying if the note is. Yeah, it compares, but I don't think that. I think the problem is that people think they they can have digital money, and if they don't have it yet, it's because it's not a good idea, or maybe they have its banks, but they don't appreciate how hard, how impossible it was to do it in a decentralized fashion, like an autonomous fashion that doesn't require any trust.
Mm-hmm.
They think maybe that is, oh, someone could have done this, and if someone didn't do, it's because it wasn't worth it. So they don't realize that Bitcoin was a big insight that made possible to happen.
Plus, they don't necessarily recognize the value of it being like autonomous, right?
Yeah,
And
but that's another point. Yeah,
so no, I think that it's important because Bitcoiners are stupid, right? Bitcoiners talk about decentralization all the time, which is two steps removed from what the actual thing is, right? So they're talking about decentralization. Nobody gives a fuck about decentralization. The decent you Decentralization is a means to what? To a means to censorship resistance. Well, and censorship resistance itself is a means to something else. It's like a
yeah, I see.
it's
Yeah,
a political scalability, right? It's the non-dependence on or non-reliance of somebody else in particular that um, allows it to scale on a geopolitical level. So stop talking about decentralization because the people you're saying it toward, it doesn't necessarily mean anything to them. And on the other, and apparently, I wonder to what extent Bitcoin, a lot of these people that use this word decentralization all the time actually realize what it relates
it's
to.
also it's such an ugly word. I hate it. Okay, what do you think they? What do you think it means, and what do people think it means?
So in I think it targets the intuition in relation to power because that's what it does, right? Decentralization means actually the decentralization of power. So you're you're moving away power from any you're ensuring that there's no centralization of power. That's what the intuition is pointing towards, and that there are a certain group of people that have a pre or a sensibility that don't like centralized power, centralization of power. So that's where it appeals to them. And
And
then
it's
there are
not.
a lot of people that don't care, that don't give a fuck about centralization of power, right?
Yeah, mm,
The only
yeah,
people, so most people don't care because there are like a lot of aspects of life that they don't want to get involved with, and they just want it to be taken care of. And then there is like a smaller group of people that do actually want this notion of autonomy and sovereignty and all that type of stuff because um, they want to carry all those responsibilities, um, and they don't necessarily can because we have a structured society where a lot of those responsibilities are taken care of, and you don't necessarily have access to those positions to get involved on that level, or because there are only so many seats, right, in order to discuss these things uh, uh, within your society, and it's very hard to go your own way because we don't have any frontier left anymore on this planet. So it's not like you can go west, right? A couple of hundred years ago, you could take a boat, you go to America, you get a donkey, you get a horse, you go west, and then you can do whatever the fuck you want, right? Just take all the responsibility of life on your shoulders, group together with a band of guys, right? Do whatever the fuck you want. We don't have that anymore. Maybe in space, but then we're still gonna have to wait, right? Because we're not there yet. You can't get, instead of getting a boat to America, you can't take a rocket ship to another planet. So yeah, so
Mm.
they look for something different, and I guess a lot of those people are now in Bitcoin and maybe in other stuff. I don't know.
Well, what you don't want to say is that everybody that's on Bitcoin is it's a bunch of anarchists. You're the only one that isn't. Everybody wants to destroy the central banks and the government.
Yeah, so I guess, right, to an extent. So,
There are a lot of leftists, like
oh yes, I've
actual.
seen this. Yeah. Okay, wait.
Why, why,
Let
why, why are there
yes.
so many leftists on
Let's get
Bitcoin?
into this. Let's get into this. Where? Oh man. Where was this discussion? In what chat was this discussion? Because I saw some Twitter handles discussing these things. Um, and there was like an anarchist, some leftist anarchist, and they're the communist, and some vegan dude, and it was very interesting. Um, why these people are there? I don't know. I mean, they're you can come up with all kinds of talking points.
I can't come up with any. If I could, I would use them on
Okay,
my
so
leftist
so
friends.
so there. I guess a lot of leftist radicals they don't like central banks either.
Mm.
All right, so you have that part. I mean, it's like the money elite, right? The man. So it's just you want to fuck the man, they want to fuck the man, right? You're all a bunch of faggots. You're all a bunch of anarchist faggots who want to fuck the man, right?
I don't. I want to kill them, man. Just kidding. I don't want to kill them. I just want to see them crying.
So, and I guess another vector would be like what the Alex Gladstein is always on about. It's like the poor people in Africa, and it's like the unbanked, and it's like the
But these
third
people,
world.
they're not the actual leftists. Like they're just some fringe. Like the amount of people that are like Alex Gladstein, it's so small. Like the people that believe in democracy and like this is like people that existed 100 years ago and do not exist anymore. And he's defending an ideal, and there's no one else that defends the ideal. Or maybe people do defend, but only to the extent that helps their actual goals. Like Bitcoiners like Alex Gladstein because he's defending Bitcoin, but I
Sure.
don't think they care very much about his. But like Alex Gladstein doesn't like the El Salvador guy, the president, but all the
Hmm.
Bitcoiners like him, and Alex Gladstein doesn't because it doesn't fit his
Yes, but this is the
weird
exact
ideals.
this is the exactly the point about the political or geopolitical scalability of Bitcoin. Right? Everybody can project their own bullshit onto it, and it doesn't matter because the system is neutral. So the system won't work against their projection on their narrative. Whether their narrative is actually wrong or right doesn't matter because Bitcoin itself is neutral. It will always fit. If you're superficial enough about it.
Yeah, yeah, but the actual communists, the actual leftists, that they control the government and most governments at least, and they just impose a bunch of taxes and they restrict free enterprise and they control the central banks. They implement their leftist
Yes, but
like politics using the
they
central bank.
yes, but they are closer to the center of power. But if the more you move away to those who are marginalized, right, you have the entire 360 degrees of political positions within the margins, and
I
all of
see.
them are able to grab onto Bitcoin and project onto it whatever they want and use it with for their particular means within that margin. And that is how Bitcoin will take over eventually, because then it will first capture the margins, and then you have like a 360-degree surround around the center, and then it allows to um your then it enables connections between these different marginal groups, and then it starts to inch its way towards the center till it finally penetrates the center and becomes normalized.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I hope. It's not happening, but I think it will happen once they ban the cash.
What do you mean
Uh,
it's not happening? I mean,
it's very slow, very slow.
oh,
I want
come
it to
on,
be
dude. I
fast.
mean, it only has existed for what 14 years now.
Yeah, that's a lot of time.
Yes, no, is it?
Well, it is. Well, doesn't matter. Like this discussion that we won't leave to it. I want it to be faster. That's all I wanted to say. And the other question I have for you is, how much do these ASL people get in prizes?
I don't know. I have no idea. But to get back, I don't think it can be faster, right? You cannot.
Okay,
It can't be faster. There are limitations to
it
the
could be.
to
It could
to.
be slightly faster. It could be.
Okay,
For
so
example, if shitcoins didn't exist, don't you think it would be so much better right now?
sure, but then again, it's like it is that a is that a reasonable statement or hypothesis to even consider?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I mean, if there is no scamming going on um, in the frontier, it's like of course there's scamming going on in the frontier because it's the frontier and it just the Royal Navy hasn't arrived yet, right? The crown hasn't arrived yet,
That's not true.
so
The Crown and the Royal Navy, they're actually preventing the scams from being solved
I okay that
because they
uh,
outlaw the actual good people. So they put the good people and the
I
honest
agree.
actors
So
in the same
I,
bucket.
I agree. I agree. Yes, yes, I agree. But on the other hand, they could also just actually put their effort into to fuck up the scammers, but they don't.
Yeah, also that they only fuck up the scammers they don't like personally.
Anything else?
No,
What kind of dog?
but dog. I don't know dog names. They're like chickens. They're all the same. They're just dogs.
Describe the dog.
It has. I don't even know how to say the name of the dog parts in English, so I won't try.
Okay, so it probably has a tail. What kind of
Yeah,
tail does it have? Is it like a short tail or a long tail? What kind of fur does it have? What color is the fur?
orange.
Orange. Okay. Is it a Shiba Inu? Do you have Doge there in your house?
No, no, of
Okay.
course not. I don't. People import these dogs to here, but it's a cruelty. These dogs have so much fur, and here so hot. Don't they suffer? I think they suffer.
Yeah, there is a lot of cruelty in relation to dogs and dog breeds. Guess it's a whole other another topic.
Oh,
Um,
I don't know.
we're over an hour.
Okay, maybe this recording went through. I don't know.
I hope so. But I downloaded the Diablo 2 because
So you're going to play another game
I'm
after
going I'm going to
25 5 years. You're going to play another game.
no not that's not technically true because I've been playing Diablo 2 for a very long time. At least
Yeah,
when it came out, I played it a lot. But it has been a very long time since I played Diablo 2, and I just Diablo 4 is coming out, and then I
do they
was like,
have a remastered version of Diablo 2?
yeah, unfortunately, I paid money, so I even considered to buy remastered because I was like, it's 50% off. I'm paying money for like Diablo 2. Why? Why am I paying money for Diablo 2?
But you don't want to pay money for StarCraft.
Yeah, so then I was like, I might as well just pay for remastered as well. I don't know. I haven't, so I probably won't.
You should. No, or maybe you shouldn't, because now Blizzard is owned by Microsoft, right?
Is it?
Yes.
When did
I don't
that
think.
happen? They were
Uh,
bought by Activision, right?
Yeah, they were. I think I don't know about
Oh,
that. I just saw
did
the name.
Microsoft buy Activision? Did that happen or something? I don't know.
I think the company was still called Blizzard, or
Yeah,
maybe Activision Blizzard or something like
yeah.
that. But Microsoft bought it last year, or maybe the deal started before that. But I think it was concluded this year, and I don't know if Microsoft has done something. But I'm afraid they will kill StarCraft. I hope they don't.
Well, they are actually because the is BattleNet slow on your end as well? If I try to join a lobby, it takes like forever.
Mm,
When we
I only
were
play
playing,
the ranked.
if you joined my lobby, did it just join instantly or did it take like 30 seconds?
No, it was instant.
Oh, okay, then I
Whenever
don't
I
know what's
found the
going on.
game, yeah, but I think they have all sorts of bugs on the server, but it's been working fine. I think.
Or maybe they're consciously fucking me up because I haven't paid for it.
Yeah, maybe.
They're just we're gonna rate limit this asshole because he's very active, but he's not paying. Fuck him.
Okay, give me your account ID. I'll buy the game for you, so you can play the ladder and stop playing those weird games you like.
Okay, okay, so for the audience, we played a used map setting game. Um, what didn't you like about it?
Well,
It's
I
okay,
didn't
you
like
don't
it
have
because
to
it
like
was
it,
a completely different game, and I had to learn it, and I don't have time to learn anything.
but it
I
wasn't a completely different
I
game.
don't have time to learn StarCraft normal. Now I want to learn.
But
I
it's
want to learn.
not a completely different game.
It is. It is. You just get a set of units, random units, and you have to
Yes, what
think about how to
you
optimally use them. And then
yes,
I don't know the commands to attack or use abilities with the Zerg units or the Terran units. So everything was a mess. And
okay, but you so it's not a different game, it's actually StarCraft.
yeah, that's true. That's actually StarCraft.
It's just that it's not a
It's not.
normal game of StarCraft because normally you wouldn't have like and Marines and Hydras and like a Defiler and
Well,
like
if you play, do you like soccer, football?
no, not no.
No, you hate it.
No, I don't hate it. I'm ambivalent towards soccer. Football, by the way.
Do you like any of these normal sports?
To
Maybe
watch or to play?
it could be either.
I don't like to watch.
Do you like
And
to play?
to play is whatever, right?
Okay.
I mean, sure, I'll play football. I suck, right? I'll play basketball. I'll suck. I'll play
You suck,
tennis.
but at least you can play. Not like
Sure.
okay, okay. Yeah, I don't know why I'm asking this. I'm just going to say that if you're playing like soccer, just two people and one goal and one whatever
Yeah.
was. Uh, it's a completely different game, even though it's the same game.
Yeah, I get that. But it's the thing. So the reason that I picked that map is because it's like they're just these little micro fights with these different sets of units, and you can play around, and then you are like, and that's exactly the reason that you don't like it because you don't actually know the game.
Yeah, could be that. But I would like it as a training ground for me if it had like normal units you would get in a normal game.
Oh, we can do that. There's micro tournament. Yeah, it has normal units and
Yeah, that
normal types of armies.
yeah, that would be good for me to learn.
And it isn't even has a setting that it only gives you turn armies.
Well, I think I'm going to play that alone all day and night until I
You
get good.
can't. Well, there are micro training games that you can play single player. Um, especially the bio ones are good, right? You get a group of Marines and medic Marines, and you have to fight Zerg. That's good because it's been a long while since I actually did that, but
It's
um,
very hard.
yeah, it's difficult. But you have to it it helps a lot because then you realize that if you're facing Ling Lurker, if you want to survive Ling Lurker, you have to target the lurkers.
Hmm.
But then you have to target them fast enough before the links get at you, because the moment the links are connecting, then you have to switch to the links. Because otherwise the links will just chew you up, right? So then you'd either have to move back, because you can't you when fighting links with Medic Marine, you can never let the links actually connect, because then they win. And if the lurkers are coming up, you have to target fire the lurkers. Because the moment if lurkers connect, then you're absolutely dead. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's you get if you do that a lot, you become a boxer
Yeah.
for sure.
I see. Yeah. So
Did you watch boxer games?
I think I watched some, uh, but I don't know how to find them. I found some on that YouTube channel, that Falcon Paladin guy.
Yeah,
There was an SCV Rush. I think that's a famous one. Right? I watched that and some others, but you know the SCV
it's
Rush, like he just
yeah, yeah,
makes.
yeah.
I think he makes one marine and it goes with all the SCVs or something like that.
Well, the thing with boxer, it's like uh his playing style just didn't scale up to the modern level. Um, but I think it's sometimes you see these games where there is like a group of medic marine somewhere in a base or something, and you're like, if you just activate your inner slayer as boxer, you could just totally fucking own it. But instead, you're going back to your base, doing the macro thing, and you'll let the army die.
Hmm.
But he shows you can leverage those fuckers to the fucking nth degree. It's so insane. Yeah, I like boxer.
So tell me one thing. When you're microing, for example, a zealot, you won't know that because you don't play these things, but maybe you know.
Yes, I
And
would know because I do play these things.
okay, you know. For example, if you're microing dragoons and
Yeah,
you're walking and stopping and shooting, and then walk again and stop and shoot,
yeah, you use hold
you
position.
use hold position, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But what? How do you do it with zealots? For example, if you hold position on zealot, it won't be used. Do you use patrol or what?
No, I just used the attack move. I think
But,
just with
but
melee
attack
use,
move.
you just use the attack move in the direction you want to fight.
Hmm. But you can't use the attack move with dragoons, for example, because
No,
if you use
then
the attack move, yeah,
they
there's a
will
delay.
yeah.
Uh, but melee units don't have the delay. Okay.
Um, no, because I think with the thing with the dragoon is that if you're using attack move, then initially it wants to start walking.
Mm.
Um, and so that's why you stop it by using hold position. And when with melee units, you wanted to start walking. I
Mm.
think maybe patrol works as well. I'm not sure.
Is there any case you know that in which patrol must be used?
Vulture micro.
Okay.
Yeah, you use patrol when vulture micro. So you use patrol in the opposite direction of where the unit is.
Nice. Why?
I don't know
What
why.
what if,
That's
what
how
if
you
you
do
use attack?
it. It won't. It's the same with the Valkyrie. So if you use patrol, then um, it will shoot, and and it will automatically move backwards. Where if you use attack move, then it will stand still and shoot, and then it needs to accelerate again. So the thing you do with patrol is you juke it, so it keeps momentum.
Hmm.
So then it turns around to shoot, but then it just glides backwards again. And the same with the Valkyrie. The Valkyrie when Valkyrie has to stand still when it's shooting. But if you use patrol in the same way you use it as a vulture, it will juke and go backwards, and then while the shooting animation goes on, it glides backwards.
Yeah, I saw
So
that.
there's actually still movement going on. Um, and then at the end, final position, it will stand still, but then it at least moved away from the target. Um, and I think when you're using a tech move, it's just if you're using a tech move, moving away, it just won't shoot.
Hmm.
And with patrol, it will shoot.
Well, with the Corsair, you have to click on the unit,
Um,
and then
I
you
I
click
don't.
after the unit to move. So you click to shoot, and you click to move. You click to shoot, you click to move. Otherwise, it will shoot and stop. But if you do that, you shoot and keep going forward. So if you're following a group of units or something like
Probably.
that.
I don't know. I've no active experience with Corsair Micro in that sense.
But I'm telling you, that's what
Okay.
I know.
Okay.
That's the few things I know. Okay,
Any other
okay.
micro questions or anything?
No,
Okay.
if you're listening to until this point, like if you're a very brave listener that went through this micro session of StarCraft, you get 100 satoshis.
And you have to give them an LN withdrawal link.
Okay, write down LNURL1. No, just kidding. Uh,
No, give them a
message me,
URL.
message
Give,
me, and I'll give you 100 satoshis.
okay, message via chat on Telegram, and they'll give you 100 satoshis inside LNTX bot.
Yes.
How's the withdrawal going?
Well, it's happening very slowly. You know, Blue Wallet. They had
Yeah,
a very big custodian service, and
yeah.
they
They
just
they quit.
they just said you have 30 days to remove your money and fuck you.
Yeah.
You think that's worse? That's better than what I did?
Um.
Like
Well,
ninety
it's at
percent of
least
the
better.
people is not going
Okay.
to. That 9% of the people have not seen the announcement. Probably they just lose the
Okay.
money.
So it's better in the sense that one, they announced it instead of it. They announced it. It's like in a month. Make sure you get your funds away in a month instead of, oh well, it appears that Lightning LNTX bot broke down again. It's not working. I think I'm just gonna quit. Um oh fuck, now people want to get their money away. Well, LNTX bot is still broken, so people can't get their money away. So let me think of a way of actually doing this, and then don't really have a way of doing it. No, and then coming up with a way of doing it that doesn't work because LNTX bot is still broken, and then informing people is like, yeah, your number is such and such, and you have to wait 500 days before you get your time slot. It's like, okay, I don't know what the fuck this means. Let me go to the Telegram channel, and then you ask your questions, and then you have like this snarky, annoyed Fiat Jeff.
That's
Uh,
not true. That's not true. That didn't happen. I was only snacking to the people that came there complaining that they were paying for the service or whatever. The
yes, but of
server.
course people are going to complain, and the reason that they're there is that because they're idiots, right? Because if they weren't idiots, they wouldn't be there.
Yeah,
So
like you, that you were
correct,
there, right?
correct.
So that's why I didn't make another announcement. I didn't want to confuse people, but I will someday make another announcement and just message every user that has
Do you have
funds.
any idea of the percentage that has been withdrawn or the percentage that's still left?
It's about half that has been withdrawn.
Okay, so there's about more than a Bitcoin still left. Is that what you're saying?
No, I think there's less than a Bitcoin
Okay, there's 0.99 Bitcoin
now.
left.
Well, I didn't check. Maybe there's still a little more, but I think it's close to a Bitcoin, and I think it's less than a Bitcoin.
Why don't you just fix LNTX bot and do the same thing as say from now on you have a month? Because especially from the bot's perspective, if you get the bot online, can't you just push a message in the bot
No,
conversation?
the bot is online. I just can't make the outside payments because the node's broken, and I fixing it would be a lot of hassle. So the bot's online now, and I can send messages to people using the bot. That's what I'm going to do. And the bot has a function now that you can call and it withdraws the money for you manually. Like it sends me a message and I send the money manually. And but one thing you can do is like you can pull a bunch of people because I put the limit. I don't know what I'm going to do with the limit, but I put the limit at the minimum amount you have to withdraw because otherwise I would be swamped with requests to withdraw 10 satoshis, and I don't want to do that. It wouldn't work.
Okay,
But
so
if a lot of people pull together, they can make a single withdrawal.
okay,
Uh,
Fia
what
Jeff. If my suggestion to you is
fix the
fix
thing?
fix the thing.
If I fix it, I wouldn't have to turn it off. That's the
Yes,
point.
no, okay. Fix the thing. Make the announcement. It's like, okay, you have 7 days, right? You have 30 days to withdraw your money from this bot. And then after those 30 days, you shut down the entire thing, and every Satoshi that's left, that's your profit.
Well, I think that's much worse than what I'm doing.
No, people at this stage, I mean, how long has this been going on?
3 months.
Yes. So if you add in another month, after that, people don't care anymore, right? If you walk away with half a Bitcoin, bon chance, it's fine. Nobody gives a fuck apparently, and you can finally buy a decent computer and I don't know, buy
Well, I,
dog food.
I have a lot of money in local bitcoins. It wasn't a lot of money when I left it there, but now it's a lot of money.
Can you get
And
it
I
out?
don't know. Oh, they want me to KYC, and now they're shutting down. So I don't know what I do. I think I'll have to KYC.
How many BTC is it?
Mm,
If you don't want to tell, then it's fine.
yeah, I don't want to tell.
Don't
It's
tell.
not a lot of BTC, but I don't remember exactly. But it's to me,
Okay,
it's just
don't
a
tell.
lot
It's
of
fine.
money.
It's fine. So, to our audience, if you want to wrench attack anybody, just do it with Fia Jeff. Take a plane to Brazil, beat the shit out of him. He has a lot of money in local bitcoins.
Well, yeah.
So you just beat up Fia Jeff, take his passport,
You don't have to beat me if you just
use
ask.
his
I'll,
passport.
I'll give you the password and then you KYC yourself and you take the money. Yeah, please don't
Okay.
beat me. Just ask. Thank you very much.
Okay. Guess I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
All right. Bye bye.